Welcome to episode 2 of Fuck It, We'll Do It Live. I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping that name, but I do like to just subtly mock Bill O'Reilly at the beginning of every episode. And so basically the purpose of this little live stream is to do live instantaneous reaction to the news as I come across it, with you guys being able to participate and give me your take and suggest stories, suggest websites. And it's Sunday today, but when I do this, you know, either late at night or in the mornings during the weekdays, generally what I'm trying to do is discover some interesting either stories or just the kernel of a video to then present for the Young Turks or for possibly for Think Tank, that sort of thing. And so it's sort of like a collaborative production meeting where you can help to shape the rundowns of various shows that I appear on, while also giving me an incentive to try to discover more different news sites and stuff like that. And so let's jump right into it. Let me see if there's any questions. Oh, that sucks, Ignopius. Sorry about that. Okay. So, by the way, we're definitely going to be talking about Donald Trump a little bit. There's been so much news over the course of the weekend already about it. I did not see Kyle and Dave Rubin's talk, no. You're in church. You shouldn't be... You shouldn't be watching this in church. Okay, but I want to wait a little bit for the Donald Trump. Let me mix it up. What's a good? Let's start first at Reddit today, and see if there's anything going on politically. I know that there's the video of the cops killing the football player. I haven't watched that yet. I would like to watch that. It seems once again their story of what happened isn't holding up to any kind of scrutiny. Yermo, give me some more details about what's going on in Mexico. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a good first thing to talk about. Let's bring up the U.S. News. Sure, U.S. News version of it. Okay, so I've seen a little bit about this in the past 24 hours. So Bernie Sanders was going to give a talk at a rally at the University of Washington, and I don't know how. I think it was like literally before he could even speak. I've heard that he spoke for about a minute. Some Black Lives Matters activists came and disrupted it, and he allowed them to talk for some amount of time, and then he tried to sort of, I guess, cut in and say supportive things about the movement and about how what he wants to do to sort of address their concerns and things like that. And they wouldn't let him talk, and apparently some were shouting out to the crowd that they're all white supremacists and racists and everything. And this is kind of a complicated issue because, like, if you're against them interrupting the speech, you're portrayed as being against the movement or against Black America, and I don't think that that's really fair. Now, I obviously have been in about a bajillion videos on the Young Turks where we try to cover police brutality and things of that sort. We try to, I think, do what we can to... Hold on a second. I gotta work out some moderation stuff, but try to work out like what we can possibly do to help as the Young Turks in terms of spreading the stories of what has happened and making sure that their concerns are heard and stuff like that. So I don't think that you can claim that I'm not supportive of the movement. But Bernie Sanders' rally is not their rally. It's Bernie Sanders' rally. And so it's frustrating, especially when he let them talk for a while. He has no obligation to let any activist group talk for even a minute. But they continue to cut him off. And so here's the issue. Saying that they can't interrupt him is not saying that they don't have legitimate concerns. They do have legitimate concerns. But I can come up with a list of 20 different groups that have legitimate concerns that most people would not be in favor of them shutting down a political rally to interrupt. Even when it's liberal, I don't... Like, this is a liberal, progressive organization. I don't want them... It's his rally. And you could go a little bit farther. Okay, if it's okay for them to interrupt his talk, should they interrupt every political speech? Should they interrupt weddings? Should they interrupt high school graduations? Like, should they go into a theater and interrupt the show? Like, there is a time and a place, and you can't just have every legitimate grievance take over the stage for, especially when you're interrupting someone who is probably pretty receptive to your message if you were to deliver it in a different way, to perhaps meet with him, speak with him, something like that. Ignopius says Bernie Sanders probably supports everything they're saying as well. Yeah, and look, I understand that their objective is to get him to think more about it And maybe this will lead to him being more vocal about their concerns. So I guess to that extent, they will have accomplished their goal, but I don't think this is the way. I don't think that you should be interrupting people's speeches and rallies and stuff like that. Even when liberals do it to Republicans, I don't think it's generally a good idea. When they throw shoes at presidents, I know that was in Iraqi, I don't generally think that is a good idea. But let's jump back to Reddit. Let me see if you guys have any thoughts about that. Trump is much more open about his racism. That is definitely true. Google Trump and blacks, and you will see a lot of quotes from him where he speaks about the blacks. Yeah, he is at best a little racist. Jimmy Carter turns 90 today. God damn. I often wonder when you see ages like that, like what chance you or I have of reaching 90. It seems impossible considering my diet. Bernie already released a detailed statement. This is Tyler Comfort. Bernie already released a detailed statement on racial justice policy, so it's unclear what they want. Maybe, I guess maybe they didn't know that he had done that. Hello, Samantha O'Sullivan in Ireland. The shoe is pretty good. Well, you can't throw things. I'm joking, but you can't throw things. Let's see. Donald Trump defends his blood remarks. I'm not gonna go to that yet. I do want to talk about that. 18 CEOs called out by Bernie Sanders for taking trillions in bailouts. Well, let's shut this ad down. Let's see, any CEOs we would recognize. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, GE, Verizon. Yeah, this is not particularly... Holy shit, this is just Verizon. By the way, I'm a Verizon customer. Verizon, amount of federal income taxes paid in 2010, 0. They got good portion of $1 billion tax refund. In that year, they announced $13,000 in job cuts. And so, look, I understand that federal income taxes are not the only taxes that a corporation could pay. So even if you reduce that to 0, they're still paying some taxes. But like when you hear conservatives say, well, you know, it's the goddamn taxes that are stopping job creation and businesses expanding and stuff like that. Like, look at all of these. How many zeros are you seeing on that page where they didn't pay any federal income taxes in that year? They saved hundreds of millions of dollars, just free extra profits over and above whatever else they made. And you know that the cell phone companies are making a lot of money because we pay a goddamn lot for our cell phone service. And still, apparently they can't expand. Apparently they can't create new jobs. Roar Bizzle, why am I working on a Sunday morning? Is that legal? I am in, well, first of all, this is going on my personal channel. This isn't even a TYT thing. And they're not in any way, they didn't even suggest that I do it, let alone mandate that I do it. I'm working because, as I tweeted yesterday, when I'm not making videos for YouTube, I don't know what to do with myself. I did some errands, and that was about it. Ben is awesome and brings a lot to the TYT party. Michael Markowski says, yeah, Ben is awesome. Yeah, Ben's great. I mean, I watched Ben on the Young Turks for like 5 years before I ever got a chance to come in and work with him. But he's awesome. He's like kind of a little bit mentoring me. Like he's always there with advice and stuff like that. He obviously busts people's balls a lot. That is definitely true. Okay, let's see. I like that he pointed out those CEOs. Let's see what else. We got Microsoft. Whoa, amount of federal income taxes Microsoft would have owed. By the way, this is trueactivist.com. I don't know this website, so I would look these up before you use them in any, don't cite them necessarily. Would have owed if offshore tax havens were eliminated, $19.4 billion. That is a lot of money. Time Warner. Yeah, you're seeing every large corporation that you could possibly think of is basically here. A lot of money. A lot of money. But I'm sure our government couldn't use it. They don't have anything for it. They got nothing. No, I'm not doing that. You should provide the links here in the chat as you go. Yeah, I can do that from time to time. I'll link this one. I'm not going to do it all the time. Like, it should be... The links should be... What did I just do? There we go. The links should be visible on the screen. I don't know if maybe it's too small. There you go. Jimmy Dore appears as much as so we can get him to appear, basically. He's obviously very busy. Okay, why don't we? There's gonna be a lot of other stuff to go to, but why don't we get to the Trump, because that's what I've been thinking about a good amount. I will linger. Yeah, I mean, feel free to say, you know, I like this story. I want you to talk more about it. Okay, I want to talk about this. So, Donald Trump. Here, I'll even link it in the chat. There you go. Visible is not as good as clickable / linked. Yeah, that's true, but it's a time thing. Okay, so Donald Trump was attacked by a lot of people after his performance at the debate, especially his response to the claims by Megyn Kelly that he had said these misogynistic things in the past, which I think is, I mean, it's irrefutable. Yes, some of them maybe we can't attack him on, since the woman that he said would look good on his on her knees apparently is defending him. As I said on the show, who knows what business arrangement she has with him. I mean, that may be why she's going along with it and everything. But anyway, he has been attacked afterward, both by Frank Luntz, the big the pollster and focus group guy, Eric Erickson, who. What I love is Eric Erickson is this conservative activist and writer. He's like a blogger. He's a terrible, terrible conservative guy. He's like the worst person in the world and a huge misogynist, but even he is attacking Donald Trump. So now Donald Trump and Eric Erickson are having this major feud where Eric Erickson is saying, oh, I should probably blur out his face. Here, can I? No, I can't actually do that. He disinvited him from his like conservative conference. And then the other stuff that Donald Trump said about Megyn Kelly, that she was so angry during the questions, she was so unprofessional, so angry, that blood was coming out of her eyes, coming out of her wherever. And what I love about that is, look, he's so immature that he would bring up menstruation as an attack on a female journalist. But then he's also so cowardly that he can't even say it. And when people attacked him on it, he waited 12 hours and then said, oh, I was talking about her nose. You weren't fucking talking about her nose, you douchebag. At least be honest when you're talking about someone's vagina. You point at the vagina and you say, I'm talking about the vagina. But he couldn't even do that. So he's both a coward and a child. Hold on. We also know that, let me see, let me bring this up. Donald Trump advisor. I want the guy's name. I think I know his name. I want to make sure. Yeah, Roger Stone. I thought it might be Paul Stone. So this is New York Daily News. So it was announced that Donald Trump had fired his top advisor. And I tweeted early on, what are you talking about, advisor? What advice is he taking from anyone? If this guy is actually an advisor and is actually advising him, this guy might be crazy. But Trump said that he fired him. He said, no, I told him I was going to quit. And so Trump, like a child, went on social media and said that he had fired him, basically. It's what kids do. And this guy wants to be president of the United States. It's amazing. This is not liquor. This is coffee. Don't worry. It's still early. So look, he's got the feud going on with Megyn Kelly, which, by the way, this is not inconsequential. Fox News loves Megyn Kelly, and they already didn't like Donald Trump. They're going to defend Megyn Kelly. Fox is going to host other debates. Does he think that he's going to have a better time next time around? No, they're going to dig up the most insidious, cutting shit that they're going to be able to find, and they're going to ream him live on stage. And he has shown, look, when he just goes on the news and just starts bringing up crazy crap, see you later, Al. When he just brings up crazy crap, yeah, he gets some support, he calls Mexican rapists and stuff like that, but he showed that other than maybe the political correctness thing, which of course conservatives are going to like, he can't defend himself when directly questioned. When he was questioned about when he became a Republican, he was completely unable to do it. He's not a fast thinker, he can't think on his feet, and they are going to absolutely ream him. And look, somebody brought up the polls, and yes, he is still ahead in the polls. He's still above 20%. And I think Cruz and Carson are the next two after that. So look, he's still doing fine, but that's one poll. We will see, and we'll especially see as time goes on, the other Republican candidates are going to have to start to attack him more, and they're going to find that there's a lot of shit to attack him on. Okay, let's, I might come back to Trump in just a little bit. Trump is the American version of Kim Jong-un. I don't know about that. Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh love Donald Trump. I don't know about Bill O'Reilly. Yes, Rush Limbaugh does love Donald Trump, because Rush Limbaugh is kind of Trumpish in that he doesn't get along especially well with Fox News. Fox News is a very establishment sort of organization for the Republican Party. I think the thing that I said on the main show was they'll take the Tea Party and they'll pull their wagon with it, but they're not going to elect it president. Like, it is a tool for them. Whereas for Rush Limbaugh, maybe not with the Tea Party specifically, but he is actually a radical when it comes to wanting to upset the balance of power in the Republican Party. Okay, let's see if there's anything... Libyan Environmental, Think Progress, it's a reliable site that I go to. Unrepentant sexist host boots Donald Trump from candidate forum for sexism. I do like that. Really fast, let's see if they have any of the quotes from Eric Erickson. This is at Think Progress. I read a few. Yes, okay, I like this quote. So this is something Eric Erickson said back in 2013. By the way, I know that I said I was going to get off of Trump. When you look at biology, when you look at the natural world, the roles of a male and a female in society and in other animals, the male typically is the dominant role. This is Eric Erickson. The female, it's not antithesis, or it's not competing, it's a complementary role. Having females as the primary breadwinners of a family is bad for kids and bad for marriage. So they're basically saying, we cannot be better than moles. We can't be better than the noble ram. We can't be better than sloths. If you can identify something that's in nature, well, clearly that's the way it should be. Which, ironically, I don't think he would take as an argument for why homosexuality is perfectly natural, since we see that in many animal species as well. No, like, in this case... Oh yeah, so, by the way, there are some animals where the women are the dominant ones, or the hunters, or the political leaders to the extent that they have politics. We can be better than squirrels, I think. That's my bold statement for the day. Am I into hi-fi and vinyl? Mario Garin says. I don't have any experience with hi-fi and vinyl. I'm not particularly into music. I know that that's weird to say. But yeah, not particularly into music. Okay, let's see. Florida State takes 2 football team photos with and without player facing assault charges. Jeez. Just don't take it with him. Like they're like hedging their bets on, maybe he won't get arrested. Let's see. Yeah, Lions is a perfect example. Eric Davis brings up, but I don't think Erickson is going to think about that. What is the right wing? This is Eric Wallace. What is the right wing going to do in 30 years when their party has largely died out? Well, I mean, here's the thing. The parties have a certain amount of inertia in terms of how quickly they can respond to changing demographics and changing policy preferences and things like that. But they do change. The inertia is not 100%. I mean, no party is going to not win an election for 40 years and just not... Like, well, I know we haven't won in decades, but fuck it, go down with the ship. They're not going to do that. Obviously, they're going to start to elect people with slightly different positions on policies and social policies, things like that. So I think that they will change. The question really is, how long are they willing to stick with their, we're going to win with white male voters and that's it, policy? As aging white male voters. Aging religious Christian white male voters. I don't know. That is a good question. Ignopia says, if Cenk Uygur died, would you do the show with Anna Kasparian if she asked you? If Cenk Uygur died, that'd be really sad. I don't even know who would... If Cenk died, I don't even know who would decide who kept doing the show. I don't know who's next up after that. I love doing the show with Anna, I can say that. Some of my favorite first hours are with Anna. We've been doing some of those recently. Hey, Matt Marcinek. We actually have talked about the protesters at the rally. I'm going to be uploading this stream as a full video on the channel. That was one of the first things we talked about. Oh, and by the way, this is an early announcement. So... Bernie Sanders is going to be in LA on Monday. Some TYTers are going to go. I'm going to try to go. It's difficult because I am doing the main show, and I would have to leave like right after the main show and rush across town to Bernie Sanders' speech, but I'm going to try to. And if I do, I'll try to do a little bit of filming. I'll definitely give you my impressions afterward. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is Think Progress again. I'm still in Think Progress. Let's go to Kasich. So Kasich, I've been giving some credit to. Hey, Amara. Hello to the UK. If you're from the land of Emma Watson, you are all right by me. Wait, hold on. I missed a comment. What was that? Something about music I thought I saw, but now I can't see it. Anyway. Yes, so Kasich I've been giving a lot of credit to. He managed to come across, especially in direct comparison to people like Cruz, Trump to some extent, definitely Huckabee, and Rubio. He is a conservative. In fact, before I continue with that, conservative rating presidential candidates. I want to see where he rates versus the others. Free Republic has one. You're giving me nothing, Free Republic. I want a chart, really. Where is Kasich? Can't even find his little face. There he is. Mixed, good, and bad. And this is from a conservative point of view. Oh, he's got some bads. I can understand healthcare. They're giving him a bad. Second Amendment, they're giving him a bad. Second Amendment, they're giving Kasich a bad? Troubled record when it comes to Second Amendment rights. He's voted for pro-gun legislation. God knows what that means, coming from a conservative. For the assault weapons ban, expanding background checks. God forbid! Don't expand it. Rory Boyd went to school with Emma Watson's brother. He looked a lot like her. It was freaky. Do you still have a connection? We do have some merchandise, Flora. There's some shirts. Go to shoptyt.com. So apparently, okay, maybe on some issues he's not as conservative. I mean, look, a mixed or bad record from a conservative's point of view doesn't necessarily mean much, and I am seeing a lot of greens here. But anyway, let's go back to talking about Kasich. He apparently here is saying, I want the actual quote, I think that man absolutely affects the environment, but as to what the impact is, the overall impact, I think that's a legitimate debate. We don't want to destroy people's jobs based on some theory that is not proven. So I gave Kasich a lot of credit coming out of the debate, saying that he did not seem like a crazy person when it came to issues of religion, you know, abortion and gay marriage. I mean, he still said he was against gay marriage, but he said he would be willing to go to a gay marriage, which in today's Republican Party, that's something. He came across as relatively reasonable. But here, it's not a fucking legitimate debate whether we should do anything about climate change or what effect it is. Maybe we're making the climate stronger. No, we're not making it fucking stronger. We're making it worse. We're making it fucking hotter. In some areas, drier. In some areas, there's not going to be any agriculture anymore. I mean, this is not a fucking legitimate debate. John Kasich seemed like a reasonable guy. We gave him credit as being one of the Republican candidates who is actually interested in governing at some point, as opposed to just being some sort of weird new age ideologue and philosopher. But he is going to show, no, I am actually a conservative as well. Let me scroll up briefly. Garden Gnome, I think you're right. He still may be the best of the bunch, but he's still not good. Now, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be the candidate. That might be better, but... Celtic Knot says, John, did anything ever come of the UK version of TYT? Thought Jenk mentioned it as a concept a while ago, but haven't seen anything since. I do hear it talked about from time to time. God damn it, I keep fucking with that. I do, he brings it up. So, I think something in Latin America or South America, UK is the prime one, and they talk about China, and I definitely think that that is on their list of priorities, but I do know that there's a lot of stuff that we need to do for our own studio too, so I don't know who's in charge of that. I don't know if we're moving towards it, but it is still something that is talked about from time to time. Ignopius asks, do you think a Republican standing up for climate change is political suicide? I don't know. I mean, I think the argument for why it would be political suicide is he is going to be attacked by all of the other candidates as being anti-business, a job killer, and all of that. If he was to come out really strong and drive home the message that embracing alternative sources of energy, renewable energy, and things like that could actually be a job net creator, like by stimulating, you know, new solar companies and stuff like that, maybe that would be possible. I think there's the Apollo project. If you can Google that, they give the argument for why that would be the case. You might be able to do that. I think it would be difficult, but I also don't think it's the principal driver of conservative interest in a candidate. I think that there's others that you could sort of make up for it in terms of appealing to the crazies. Okay, so that's Kasich. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to save that. I'm going to be doing the main show, the Young Turks, tomorrow and the next day. And I think that Jenk is going to be back on Wednesday, I think. Flora Imogen says a UK version of TYT wouldn't be the same. Would it? I don't know. I mean, look, certainly you wouldn't have the Fox thing, although I mean, there's media like that there, and the politics is very different. But you guys have some I think some great political commentators over in the UK. I mean, why can I not think of his name? The comedian. Oh, the gay comedian. Oh, he's British. What's his name? He was in V for Vendetta. Man, he would rock it. Or if we got not Piers Morgan. Who was the guy? Yeah, Piers Morgan's pretty good. I think there are some people that could run a TYT UK and do fine. Hey, son of man, hello to India. Okay, let's try something different. Let's go to New York Times. See what the paper of record has to say today. Rowan Atkinson could be good too. Stephen Fry, yes. Stephen Fry is exactly what I was thinking of. Man, Stephen Fry. I don't know where he is on every political issue, but goddamn, he's clever enough to rock a show like that. Eric Wallace says, why doesn't TYT put out a schedule of who's hosting when? Well, there's a very good reason for that. In a lot of cases, Russell Brand too. He's kind of like the version of TYT for the UK. We've actually done a couple of videos with him. One of the reasons we don't do a schedule is because we often don't know who's hosting when. Jenk sometimes has to leave with a day's notice, or less than a day's notice. I've had less than an hour's notice that I was doing the main show a couple of times. It's pretty rare. I would like to have that, and it might be possible. Let me write that down as an idea. TYT schedule of hosts. I'm just opening this up as a browser, so I'll remember to think about it later. That's not that is a good idea. I don't know. It would be so spotty, but I think it would be interesting. Okay, let's see. Controversial Texas voter ID law kept registered voters with proper ID from voting. Okay, cron.com. I will link to this, although I don't know if I'm even going to be on it in 15 seconds, but I will send you the link. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, we know that it was keeping a lot of people who didn't have the ID from voting, who should have been able to vote. Let's see if they have any numbers here. They have to present one of 7 photo IDs. The most prominent effect of the law seems to be to discourage voters who actually had one of the forms of photo ID, but due to misinformation, believe they did not and did not go to vote. Interesting. Okay. So in a district in West Texas, Congressional District 23, 5.8% of non-voters said the main reason they didn't cast ballots was that they didn't have any of the required photo IDs, and 12.8% said it was one of several reasons. However, research shows that only less than 3% actually didn't. So that's a couple percentage points of the electorate thought they didn't have the ID but did. And this is the sort of thing where, you know that they always put out those signs like, due to unanticipated demand on election day, Republicans will be voting on Tuesday and Democrats will be voting on Wednesday. They do that sort of thing. So you could have forms of ID that a lot of people have, but then you just put out fucking lying ads that don't mention those, and then people think that they don't have it. Ugh. Hollow Samudiamen says, what are you told when you're hosting at the last minute? What's your reaction? Fear. Concern. Because I don't like to talk about stories. Well, this is going to seem ironic considering this segment, but I generally don't like to pretend that I'm well researched on a story if I am not well researched, and so I will frantically do as much research as I can. But when I only have like an hour, normally it's because of an emergency, and so I'm not mad or anything. You have such a different delivery than Jank, and it's nice to have different styles sometimes. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that that's one of the strengths of TYT, really, is that we all have very different deliveries. Like, if you had... It would be interesting. We should do this experiment sometime, where you take a story with supplementary information, and you have me and Jimmy and Ben and Anna and Jank go in different rooms, prepare what we'll do, and then we make the video, and then we show how we each covered the same exact material. I think that would be really interesting. I know that, like, the way that I intro stories is obviously very different than Jank. I like the way that he does it. He gets right to the point in a way that I don't feel comfortable doing it. Like, I can't just immediately jump out with, like, today in the news happened. Like, I can't do that. Like, I have to sort of try to be clever and try to lead into it, which I think sometimes bites you in the ass. So, this study is very interesting because, I mean, look, we already had a federal appeals court knock down, at least temporarily, the Texas voter ID law because it was considered to be class-wise discriminatory. They didn't really admit to the racial discrimination. But this, I mean, if it's actually stopping people with the ID from voting, it's going to be a little bit harder to back that up. Anna's delivery involves punching the TriCaster. If it was close enough, she definitely would. Eric Wallace says, is there someone who you like to host with but don't get to frequently host with? Yes, definitely. So there's a couple people. I mean, look, there's people that I don't get to host with as much as I want, even though I do host them a lot. I wish I could do more first hours with Anna. I love doing first hours with Ben. I like doing with Cenk as well, but for some reason I think me and Ben, it's more balanced, I think, the conversation a little bit. Because he's not a ranter, really. When I'm on the screen with a ranter, I don't want to pull the energy down after they're done ranting about something, but I'm not going to artificially start screaming like I'm also ranting or something like that. Yes, the 2IT Empire might crumble without Cenk. Yeah, having Kara more would be good too. We had her on Think Tank this last week, and it was great. She has a very different perspective. But here are some people that I would like to do the show with more. Wes Clark Jr. would definitely be high up there. I don't agree with him on everything. There's a lot of stuff we don't agree on, but I think that he's very entertaining, and he's authentic. He's very TYT. I wish that he was around more often, but he has kids, and he's busy. Why can't I remember his first name? Oh my god, how am I... Brian Unger. Why was I thinking Bill Unger? No, Brian Unger. I love doing the show with Brian Unger. He doesn't talk too much, which is good because he doesn't filibuster, but what he says I think is very well thought out. He's a very thoughtful guy. He's funny. He's one of the nicest people I think I've ever met in this city, especially considering how much experience he has. Kara is great when balanced. What do you mean? Why isn't Malcolm Fleshner on TYT at least 9 times a week? He is in the post games. See, Son of Man says Cenk interrupts me too much, but the thing is, people also say that I interrupt Cenk and Ben and Anna too much, which... Let's talk about that really fast. I'll try to get back to these questions. Damn, you guys are commenting so fast. The thing is, like, you don't want to interrupt people or talk over people, but when you have 2 or 3 or 4 people on a panel who are all, like, people who love to talk and have a lot of thoughts about things, if you don't interrupt, you might never speak. So that's always difficult. Where did the Think Tank theme song come from? I licensed the theme song from Audio Jungle, I think it was. It was one of those Video Hive sort of sites. But anyway, yeah, it was a small sample of a much longer song, but I love it. That guy knows what he's doing. Let's see. I'd love to see more Wes. I'd love to see a regular, even weekly video where he comments on the conflicts going on from a military perspective. That would be good. There used to be a show. If you go on YouTube and you search WMB, him and Michael Shore and Ben Mankiewicz used to have a show that they did for a couple of months. Joe Hakeem says, John, do you watch Kyle from Secular Talk? I don't watch regularly. I mean, I'm obviously familiar with him. I think he's doing a really good job. But he does a lot of videos just like the Young Turks. And generally, if I'm not on the Young Turks, I can't even watch most of those videos. You know how many videos I make every day? I don't have time to be watching a bunch of other videos. I wish that I could. There's a lot. I wish I could watch The Daily Show and The Colbert Report. I almost never watch those. I wish that I could. What else? I wish I could watch Russell Brand on The Truths. Like, I definitely wish I could watch more of that. But there's just so much. Hannah came in to intern. She knew a couple of the other people who were working at TYT. That's how she joined us. Let's see. The Mutant says, I miss Bree. That pretty girl lit up the TYT studio. Yeah, I miss Bree too. She's working at SourceFed now, and I know that they have... they can't necessarily do other shows that do similar content. It's like a contractual thing, which is too bad because I did like Bree, especially on 2IT back in the day. Okay, let's find some other stories. I'm gonna see if alternate. I don't think they update too much on the weekends. You've missed the boat on watching the Colbert Report. Not necessarily. There's no reason why. There's no reason why I couldn't go back and watch the old ones. Like I love that sort of content of both the Daily Show. John Oliver. I don't watch John Oliver each week. I wish that I could do that. I should do it. Breeze Cheese. Whatever happened to Ebony K. Williams? She was great, but she moved. I think she moved to New York to do TV full time, so she's never around anymore. Do you ever do crossovers with SourceFed? I think Brett was on SourceFed, but no, we don't normally. I've personally invited a couple of them to be on the Young Turks a couple of times when I've seen them at like events, but either they're too busy or they just can't do it. Like their contract doesn't allow them to do it, which I would not be surprised to find out was the case. Let's see. That's horrible. Look, I'm not even gonna click on this, but Hold on. I do not watch Hannity every night. Ebony was great. Very stunning, yes, and very smart. Bill Maher unloads on nasty, boorish, sexist, ignorant, smug Donald Trump. You had me up until the end. There ain't nobody on this planet that's more smug than Bill Maher. Sorry. I like him overall. Gina Grad is... She's been in a little bit recently, but not too much. Because she does radio shows and TV shows every day now. So she's too busy, unfortunately. Menstruation comment. My people are loving that. Oh, okay. Let's do a follow-up to the story. This should be good. I'm going to post this. Oh, such good questions, too. My educational background, I got an undergrad in political science at the University of Connecticut, and I finished effectively my master's, and I went all but dissertation in government at the University of Texas at Austin. Have I ever been on any non-TYT show? Yeah, I was on HLN. It was the Jane Velez Mitchell show once. I was on Take Part Live with Kara once. I've done a few things. My favorite soccer team is Norwich City, which I assume plays in Norwich City. That's all I know about it. Is there a beef between Bill Maher and TYT? If there is, I don't know about it. I know that Cenk would like to be on the show at some point, and I'm sure that we've invited Bill Maher on, but he does not seem interested. Okay, so 10 reasons why John Kasich is as rabidly right-wing as the rest of the GOP presidential candidate pack. So I'm interested in this because I suspect that he is very right-wing in his own way. And I know of a couple of the ways, but I would like to supplement that. Oh, you guys are asking great questions, but I want to read this too, damn. Okay. Attacking workers. Let's see. Okay. Buckeye State gained a mere 5,000 jobs. So that's not really about attacking workers. The rumor is Kasich will turn Ohio into a right-to-work state. That would be rough. Here it's mainly that he's not good for workers. That doesn't really seem to back up the claim that he's attacking workers. Did I mispronounce it? Norwich? Is that it? Has TYT considered hiring Abby Martin? I don't think Abby Martin is looking to be hired. But we had her on once. That's a good point. We need to have Abby Martin back on. Not that I don't agree with her on everything, but I do like her. Am I not allowed on the old school podcast? I think that they don't invite me on some stuff just because they know that I'm really busy and I do everything else, I think. Privatizing schools. He's cut more than $500 million from public education in Ohio. Again, these are all things that I would want to make sure of by fact-checking before we use them on any of our other shows. But Alternate, in my experience, is reliable in terms of these sorts of facts. Let's see. Increased charter school funding by $57 million, which I'm generally against. If I felt I could trust the people who are experimenting with it, I would be more in favor of it, but I believe that the people who push for it are just trying to fund religious education, basically. Have you seen... Wait, what are your thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens? That ain't political, but I am very excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome. Eric Wallace, it would probably be Kasich at this point, honestly. Or maybe Ben Carson. If he didn't actually get to do what he wants with taxes, maybe Ben Carson. He seems like a nice enough guy. Yeah, Star Wars Force Awakens is going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for that. It's so exciting. I didn't think that I'd ever live in a period where there would be another Star Wars. And so that's going to be great. And also, I play X-Wing miniatures, and this might lead to new ships for that, which would be awesome as well. He's anti-environment. Okay, let's see this. Well, we already were talking earlier about his views on climate change. Doesn't think we need to do anything. Let's see. Okay. He killed a train line meant to restore passenger service between Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. All that money left the state. Well, that doesn't really have much to do with the environment. Oh, so he signed a bill that froze Ohio's renewable energy and energy efficiency standards at their present levels for 2 years. I would have to see if he considered vetoing it. Probably not. Oh, it had saved them a bunch of money, these new renewable energy standards. And then he froze it. David Koch donated to his re-election campaign the maximum allowed under law, but I'm sure that didn't influence him. Celtic Knots, I did. Very excited about it. Tyler Bingham, see a different movie. Is TYT like a university fraternity? No. In what way? I don't think so. Okay, let's see. Anti-reproductive rights. Okay, interesting. Let's see. A gag order on rape crisis counselors on talking about abortion, defunding Planned Parenthood. I would want details about that. And the heartbeat bill. Oh, yes, I do remember that. Banning abortions on pregnancies over 20 weeks. Because of Kasich and the state legislature's new laws, abortion clinics all over the state are closing. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading these, but I can already tell that I want to do additional research, and I'm gonna propose this as a story for Monday. We need to talk about him. Who's my favorite person? Eli Van Bumen says, who's your favorite person to co-host with on TYT? Oh, I don't. That's not fair. I can't. I mean, I like hosting with a bunch of different people, and for different reasons. Like, I like hosting with Jimmy. Jimmy makes me laugh all the time on the air. I like, if I say a favorite, it's only because that's the person I'm thinking of right now. It doesn't mean that I actually like them more necessarily. But lately I have very much enjoyed doing the first hour with Ben. With Anna too, though. That's the thing. It's so close. I don't know, but I do really like doing it with Ben. Okay, anti-LGBT equality. Okay, this is interesting because we saw Kasich saying that he's against gay marriage, but that he would still love his daughter if she was gay. He would still go to a gay wedding. So let's see. In his last year in Congress in 2001, this is a long time ago though, the Human Rights Campaign gave Kasich a 10% out of 100% rating for supporting equality for LGBT rights. He apparently still believes marriage is between a man and a woman. Okay, that doesn't really provide us with any new information, unfortunately. Let's see. I have talked about Bernie Sanders. I might bring it up a little bit again, but if not, it'll be in when I upload this as a video. It was one of the first things we talked about. Would you ever consider doing a political commentary during a Twitch stream? Like while doing gaming? We've talked about politics a little bit during it. I worry that I would... Like, I feel like when I do that, it's a more personal thing. It's a less newsy thing. Rainswift Flower says, why do you occasionally make jokes that put yourself down like you can't get girls? Boggles my mind. I think it's funny. I know I do it a lot. I do it way too much, but it's one of my favorite types of jokes to make. There's definitely some love in the air between you two. You are misinterpreting what you see. Sorry. Wait, what was that? Let me go back a little bit. Sorry about messing with the chat. How do you think Hannah does on TYT? I think she does great on TYT. She does a lot of research. She prepares a lot. She's very, very hardworking. Tax cuts for the rich. Let's see. He not only stripped $500 million from schools, but has decreased funding intended for cities, townships, and counties. He ended the Ohio inheritance tax. Huh. Okay. Kasich's much-touted state income tax cut benefited his rich friends as well. 21% decrease started under the previous governor. Oh, wow, yeah, you save a lot more money if you're rich under that. Okay, that's true. Tax increases for the poor. Let's see. Taxes, well, that's sort of... Yeah, okay. He's raising taxes on the poor to some extent. Punish welfare recipients. Some of these are a little bit weak sauce, I'm not going to lie. Embraces voter suppression. Increased gerrymandering under him. Ugh, that's not good. And privatizing prisons. Great. Well, Anna's going to love that. John Foon says, do you really consider the would go to a gay wedding line a plus for gay rights in any significant way? A little. I mean, it's certainly better than saying, no, I wouldn't. Look, it's very low standard to say that that's worth anything. I get that. But it is still better than saying, fuck those people, they're dead to me. And so I want to give him at least some credit. Yeah, so look, I'm going to save this link and do some additional research. I'm sure that a lot of people have put together some lists like this. I want to do some fact-checking on the numbers, but these are a bit weak sauce. Okay, let's try out Raw Story. Let's mix it up a little bit. Wait, did I already go to Raw Story? I think it might have. Maybe I'll go to Mediaite. Yeah, let's go to Mediaite, actually. It has a history of being kind of right-wingish, but whatever, we'll try it. Thank you, Memoless. Have you seen how fake Hillary vid made Citizens United bill? I don't know what you mean. Gotta reterm that. Morning. Okay, Mediaite. Oh, really fast. So Megyn Kelly has responded. Let's see. I didn't even know she was on the weekends. What does she do on the weekends? I know Andrea Tantaros goes to the beach, apparently, according to her Instagram activity. Do you watch any Vsauce videos? Adam Stewart says. I do not generally. I have seen some in the past. It's not one of the ones that I normally go to, but he does a great job. Baker Swenson says, what car do you drive? I drive a very lib car. I drive a Chevrolet Spark EV, a 100% electric tiny hatchback. So I am super lib. Megyn Kelly's at my house on the weekends. No, it's not. I will talk about... Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be there for the True Detective finale. I have to film Think Tank tomorrow morning, so I may not actually be there. That's too bad. So, she says... It's okay, I am a big girl, I can take it, that's good. I don't think that my history as a journalist supports bias on my part towards either party. Nothing in your record supports a charge of bias towards or against any party. Come on, Megyn. Come on, Megyn. Be honest. When I'm ticking off both sides, I'm in my sweet spot. That ain't your sweet spot, and you know it, goddammit. If you can't get past me, how are you going to handle Vladimir Putin? That's a good point. I don't know how any of them are going to handle Vladimir Putin. They keep saying, well, I'm just going to intimidate him. When he's intimidated, he won't invade Europe. Doesn't really make any sense to me. Yeah, you should check out, if you're a fan of Andrea Tantaros, check out her Instagram. She, it's not what you would expect from a newswoman necessarily, but it's awesome. It would be like if I don't know, like Eric Bolling was just like ab shots all day long. That's basically what it is. Or if Bill O'Reilly was just like, look at my guns. And we have an example of it, actually. Who's the Fox News commenter who put up the shirtless selfie? It's basically that. Chubwagon asks if I'm going to the Bernie Sanders rally. I think that I'm going to. I'm going to try to. It's right after work, unfortunately. Okay, let's find a couple more interesting stories before I wrap this up. Let's see if The Atlantic has anything. Oh, actually, really fast. Paris to Ferguson. The Republican Party created Donald Trump. This stuff is old. This stuff is old. Okay, let's go to Vocative. They have a nice little mix of light and serious stories. Let's see. Yeah, Geraldo. Thank you, Ian. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He put up the shirtless selfie. So maybe he was blazing the path that now Andrea Tantaros is going to go down. I wonder if others will. Let's see. 1 year after Michael Brown. Disruption at Sanders rally triggers division. That is true. Oh, let's really fast bring this up. I don't know if we're going to cover it on any channel. I think we mentioned on Friday that James Holmes, so James Holmes, the Aurora, Colorado theater shooter, the Dark Knight shooter, he did not get the death penalty, which isn't super surprising, I guess. It isn't doled out all that much. Wait, really fast. Who's the hottest? Andrea Tantaros. But here's the thing. So they have interviews with some of his groupies that they don't say that he didn't do it. They don't say that he's innocent. They don't say that he should be let go. But they're into him. Either emotionally or physically, they're into him. They say that he's misunderstood, that he has mental problems. That's the only reason. Come on. It's ridiculous. Look at him. And I know that this is an old picture, obviously. It's not like he's still like that. But he doesn't seem at all affected even a year later by what he did. Yeah, he has groupies, man. I don't even have groupies. This dude shot and killed people. He has groupies. The world is not a fair place. Let's see. Greta was sexy as... No, Greta. Amara asks if I like John Oliver and Last Week Tonight. Yeah, they do a great job. I mean, they do a very specific thing where they find one or two topics and they go super in depth and research it all week and put together an awesome segment. But the way they do it is great. Let's see if there's any interesting world news. Why North Korea's time zone change is bad for business. Bad for whose business? For their business? What business do they have? They're not in the business of being in business. Hold on. It's putting its clocks back by 30 minutes, which could screw with computers. Why is it doing that? Okay, so it's going back to the time zone it was in before it was colonized by Japan. Okay, that seems reasonable. I mean, if they were only switched over because they'd been colonized, I can understand they'd want to go back. I don't think it really matters. I I would like to go to VidCon next year. I thought that the like the crowd at VidCon, I thought was weighted very young, and I didn't think there would be much call for me to be there, but the think tank audience is younger and younger demographically now than it was a year or two ago, so maybe it would make sense. Let's see. Okay, I'm not really seeing a ton. Afghan women and children deaths still high. Let's bring this up. Oh my god. So this is just women. The number of injuries is more than twice as much from a few years ago. Child deaths, marginally up. Obviously, any of these bad injuries are going up. Yeah, widespread conflict, man. 1 in 4 deaths, 1 in 4 of the casualties in the war is a child. Damn. Jesus Christ. Yeah, over 1,200 injured and dead. Jesus. No, this is... What is the demographic for Think Tank? The demographic for Think Tank, the biggest single demographic is men between 18 and 25. Almost exactly equal to that is women between 18 and 25. Then it's like women from 13 to 17 and men from 25 to 34. It's basically all in that 13 to 34. Not trying to start anything, but how come this be the one hate/troll-free chat? Shh. Just enjoy it. To play us out, what does that mean? Yes. Yeah, man, that's fucked up. Okay, what's a good site? I think we're getting towards... What did I do? I lost my windows. We're getting towards probably the end of the stream. We're almost at an hour already. I'll give a couple more minutes. Let's see if there's any more questions you guys want answered. Do you feel bad for Obama for shitty takes from media/Congress? Shitty takes from the media, as long as it's based in reality, based in fact, I think that's the job of a president, is to be targeted by that stuff. The shitty takes from Congress, I think, it's politics. It's not based in fact, I think. So that does bother me. Yeah, let's go to Media Matters, actually. I don't think they update much on the weekends, necessarily. See, this is the thing about doing a Sunday edition of this, is news on the weekends is always, political news at least, is much more scarce. Like, you don't, even the Sunday news doesn't come out until Monday. Would you moderate a Republican debate if they asked you to? I would, but then they would never ask me to again. Because, and I'm not even saying that, like, because I would be so good with the follow-ups and the fact-checking. I just mean that I would fucking swear at them and I would call them out for the dicks that they are, and I would never be considered professional again. A more organized format. Yeah, Gardenome, I want to. The thing is, like, I want to answer your questions and I want to discuss the stories. I don't want to, like, go for 5 minutes without answering questions, because I want you guys to know that I'm watching. Right now, who would you vote for? Bernie Sanders. Why doesn't Obama propose more renewable energy? Well, he did actually put out this last week the Clean Power Act, was it called? It's something like that. But it does put a little bit more emphasis on solar and wind, which is good. And look, on the environment, he has done some stuff. He hasn't done as much as I would like, but he's done some good stuff over the past 8 years. If you Google it, there's quite a bit. Jon Stewart left The Daily Show so he could join the race at the last second, right? What if he did? That would be awesome. I'm not even saying that would be good, necessarily. I don't think that he should necessarily be president, but that would be amazing. I see you, Memorless. It would be insanely awesome. I don't know. I don't think it would be good. I don't know. Common Room, it is coming back. Hopefully soon. We're working on it right now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is all from, like, Saturday or late Friday. I do want to bring up a couple of these quotes because I read this article yesterday. So this is some of Megyn Kelly's moments. Megyn Kelly, especially, what I don't like about the Trump thing with Megyn Kelly is that she is now going to be seen to be the victim and the moderate compared to this mean, crazy Republican. But no, she's extreme too. Let's see. Okay, so the one I like is Santa Claus just is white, and just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it has to change. That's the sort of, like, she tries to sound reasonable on race. But, like, Santa Claus is fucking white, originally. Like, we have made him white, and we've made Jesus white, because white people find it to be more comfortable that the people that we look up to and admire are white. But they're not white. Like, And you could like Santa Claus and like Jesus without him being white. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Memolus. Chelsea lives in New York City now, so I don't think that she'll be coming back, but I would like to have Alex back. I miss Alex. Alex, by the way, if you're in the LA area, Alex is an actor, and he does improv and he does stand-up pretty regularly. So if you want to see more of Alex, you can do that. Do you think that Fox News will ever hire an unattractive woman? I'm sure that they have. I don't think that they will. And look, that kind of sucks, because I'm sure that there are some female former politicians or journalists who aren't very attractive, maybe that actually have something to say about politics in a way that the 101 blondes don't, but they won't bring them on. Let's see. Oh, this section really right here is Megyn Kelly's past remarks, sort of defending police brutality, sort of minimizing the effect on minorities, and she has been doing that regularly. And so she's not as reasonable as they tried to make her out to be. Alex would say some fucked up shit on CR. It was hilarious. I don't really remember him saying much fucked up shit. I know Chelsea said some fucked up shit. I don't know so much about Alex, but we'll see if we bring him back. Okay. That's probably all the stories for now. Let's see if there's one or two more questions before I wrap. Santa was invented by white people. Jesus was invented by PSC. Fox News has ugly women. They're just behind the camera. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, sucks about Kennedy. No more Lisa on Think Tank. Lisa she was doing Think Tank kind of on the side for a little bit while she was in business school, but now she's gone off into her new career, and so she's probably not going to be doing much on-screen stuff, but maybe in the future. BuzzFeed News, not very regularly. Sometimes I will go there. Let's see right now if they have anything interesting really fast, just because I don't go very often. Well, the first article, it's Apple Watch and Rebecca Black. So, no, I don't think I'm going to see too much that I necessarily like. They do have a politics section. Let's see. Android Doctor, if you want to watch the full thing, I'm going to upload it soon. People really liked what they saw about Marco Rubio. I think that that's true. I hated what I saw and what I heard, but I can understand that conservatives would... I don't know why he's not getting more credit for his performance at the debate. If you're a conservative, you should like what he said there. He appealed, I think, to some fiscal conservatives. He definitely appealed to religious conservatives. Anyway, you can get an interview with Bernie. I think that we're actually trying, because RJ Eskow, who's been on the Young Turks a number of times, is doing press stuff for him. I think that we're trying to, but it's like literal last minute. He's going to be being interviewed by everybody in LA. I highly doubt it will happen, but we are trying. Oh, that was promoted by American Express or Express Jeans. So I was, what the fuck does that have to do with politics? Yeah, I mean, it's mostly Megyn Kelly. Rand Paul's new strategy, be the anti-Trump. Man, you don't need a new strategy. You had a strategy. You were the libertarian. You just can't be it in public apparently anymore now that you're running for the presidency. The RNC debates required proof of cable subscription to stream online, effectively alienating. That is true. I think that Rubio will move up in GOP polls off that debate. The first poll that I saw, he did not, but I agree with Ancient Atheist. I think that he will. Yes. Okay, so thank you for joining me for episode 2 of We'll Do It Live. Name still possibly up for change. I love hanging out with you guys, especially when you suggest new places to go to and where you'd like to see more news from. There's websites that I've never seen, websites that I used to go to that I forget about, and so that's nice. I don't know that I will do this live every Sunday. I don't want to commit to any schedule on it just yet. I'm trying to get my walk and talk schedule set. I'm trying to have that be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I want to make sure that I can do that before I start regularly scheduling other stuff. But I do want to, and I want it to be in the week, in the mornings, maybe on Sundays, we'll see. But thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you definitely should. Subscribe to youtube.com/thinktank as well. This video is going to be uploaded, in case you missed any, as a full video just a little bit later on today. I'm going to regularly do that. If there are things you'd like to see discussed on the stream, you can either watch live, and I'm always going to tweet before I go live, or you can send me a tweet beforehand about stuff you'd like to see discussed. So again, thank you for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.